വെൽക്കം ടു ബ്ലൂം വിത്ത് ബയോ. സോ നമ്മളിന്ന് പഠിക്കാൻ പോകുന്നത് ആനിമൽ കിങ്ഡം എന്നുള്ള ചാപ്റ്റർ ആണ്. +1 ബയോളജിയിലെ 4th ചാപ്റ്റർ ആണ് കേട്ടോ. സോ ഇൻ ദിസ് ചാപ്റ്റർ വിൽ ബി ലേണിംഗ് അബൌട്ട് ദി ക്യാരക്ടറിസ്റ്റിക്സ് ഓഫ് ആനിമൽ കിങ്ഡം ആസ് വെൽ ആസ് ദി ക്യാരക്ടേഴ്സ് ഓൺ ബേസിസ് വിച്ച് ദിസ് ആനിമൽ കിങ്ഡം ഈസ് ക്ലാസിഫൈഡ്. പിന്നെ നമ്മൾ 11 ഫൈലാസിനെ പറ്റി പഠിക്കും ഡീറ്റെയിൽ ആയിട്ട്. അത് കഴിഞ്ഞ് നമ്മുടെ കോർഡേറ്റ്സിന്റെ കുറെ ക്ലാസ്സസും സബ് ക്ലാസ്സസും നമ്മൾ പഠിക്കുന്നുണ്ട് ഈ ചാപ്റ്ററിൽ. സോ നമുക്ക് ആദ്യമായിട്ട് നോക്കാനുള്ളത് ക്യാരക്ടറിസ്റ്റിക്സ് ഓഫ് ആനിമൽ കിങ്ഡം ആണ്. Animals can move from one place to another. That is, they can show locomotion. That is, movement of an organism from one place to another is called as locomotion. And the cells of animals do not have cell wall and they do not have plastids. Animals are mainly heterotrophic in nature. That is, they won't prepare any food. They depend on plants directly or indirectly for their food, and also they depend on other organisms for their nourishment. They have excretory, sensory and neurological systems present, and mainly or majority of the organisms reproduce by sexual reproduction, and that doesn't mean they do not reproduce by sexual reproduction. Organisms are there which reproduce by sexual methods also, but mostly organisms reproduce sexually. And now let us see level of organization present. There are 4 levels of organization: the cellular level of organization, tissue level of organization, organ level of organization, and organ system level of organization. So what is cellular level of organization? In this type of organization, the cells are arranged in loose aggregates like in sponges. Then you have tissue level of organization. What is tissues? Tissues are a group of similar cells which combine together to form tissues. So organisms are there where cells aggregate together and forms tissues or different kinds of tissues. These kinds of animals are found in coelenterates. Now coming to the organ level of organization. Organ level of organization means group of similar cells or tissues will combine together to form organs, and these organs take away the functions, like in Platyhelminthes. Now coming to organ system level of organization. I have a digestive system, circulatory system, neurological system. Every type of systems are present in my body. What are they actually? Are they made up of single type of cell? Are they made up of a single type of tissue? Are they made up of single type of organ? No, they are made up of different kinds of tissue, organ, and all these different kinds of tissues, organs which combine together to form or work together to form a specific function comes under organ systems. So the organisms which have organ systems are organ system level of organization. Example, from Ashelminthus to chordates. In your NCERT level of organization, Ashelminthus is not given under organ system level of organization. But still, it is given in the explanation of Ashelminthus, that is, it is organ system level of organization. So you have to include Ashelminthus also in this. Based on the symmetry present, organisms can be classified into 3. One is asymmetrical organism, then we have radial symmetrical organism and bilaterally symmetrical organisms. So what is asymmetrical organisms? Organisms body which cannot be divided into equal halves through any plane. Whatever we do, these organisms cannot be divided into equal parts. This type of organisms includes under sponges. Now coming to radial symmetry. Radial symmetry is when a plane which is passing through the central portion of your body or a body of an organism can divide it into equal halves. This is called as radial symmetry, and any plane which is passing through their body can divide it into equal different parts. Coming to bilateral symmetry. Bilateral symmetry, that is bi. What is bi? It is 2. So an organism's body which can be divided into 2 identical parts, one left part and one right part, that is called as the bilateral symmetry. Based on the presence of germ layers, organisms can be classified into 2. What are germ layers? Ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm are the germ layers which are present in the early embryonic stage. And these germ layers will develop into different organs and organ systems in our body. So based on the presence of these germ layers, organisms are of 2 types. One is diploblastic and the other one is triploblastic. Diploblastic, that is 2 layers. Two layers are present. That is, ectoderm and endoderm is present. The inner endoderm and outer ectoderm is present. The middle layer called mesoderm is not present in this type of organisms. But instead of this mesoderm, what is present? A fluid-filled space called a mesoglia is present in this diploblastic organisms. Example, coelenterates. Coming to triploblastic organisms, organisms which have all the 3 germ layers, that is ectoderm, endoderm and the middle mesoderm. These kinds of organisms are called triploblastic organisms. Example, from Ashelminthus till chordates, organisms are having triploblastic level of organization. Coelom. What is coelom? Coelom is the body cavity. It is a fluid-filled space present between the body walls and the alimentary canal, and the coelom should be covered or lined by mesoderm. Then only it can be called as a coelom or a true coelom. So based on the presence of this type of coelom, organisms are classified into three. One is acoelomate, then you have pseudocoelomate and coelomate organisms. What are acoelomate organisms? These type of organisms do not have such cavities. Pseudocoelomate organisms. Pseudocoelomate organisms do not have a mesodermally lined body cavity. But still, these mesoderm are found in patches in between the ectoderm and endoderm. Such animals are called pseudocoelomate animals, and example is Aschelminthus. Now coming to proper coelomate organisms. So coelomate organisms are having a true coelom which is lined by mesoderm, and examples are arthropods till chordates. Digestive systems is of two types. One is incomplete digestive system and the other one is complete digestive system. In incomplete digestive system, what happens? A single opening is serving as both mouth and anus. So the food is taken in through one and the same waste is removed out through the same opening. That is why it is called as incomplete digestive system. In some organisms or in other higher organisms, what happens? There are two openings, that is mouth will be there for taking in food and for elimination of waste anus will be there. So this type of digestive system is called as the complete digestive system. Now coming to circulatory system, two types of circulatory systems are there. One is open circulatory system and the other one is closed circulatory system. What is open circulatory system? Open circulatory system is when the blood which is pumped out from the heart is flowing through the body cavity, not in a definite closed pathway. And this body cavity will be filled with blood and the tissues are bathing in it. Coming to closed circulatory system, when the blood which is pumped out from the heart is going or it's flowing through definite arteries, veins and capillaries. And there the tissues are not in direct contact with the blood. So this type is called as closed circulatory system. Metamerism or segmentation. So it is a phenomenon by which a body or an organ is externally and internally divided into repeated units. So this repeated units is called as metamers. Like example in annelids and arthropods. Now coming to notochord. What is notochord? It is a mesodermally derived rod-like structure which is found on the dorsal side during the embryonic stage of an organism or an animal. It is found in the embryonic stage in the dorsal side. So this is the ventral side and this is the dorsal side. So what happens? It is a mesodermally derived rod-like structure which is found on the dorsal side during the early embryonic stage of an animal. Okay, so there are two types of organisms present based on the presence of notochord and absence of notochord. So if the notochord is present, these animals are called as chordates, and if this notochord is not present, such animals are called as non-chordates. Now we can represent animal kingdom in an easy flow chart. So you can see animal kingdom on the basis of level of organization can be divided into two types. One is organisms with the cellular level of organization. Then the second part is organisms with the tissue, organ and organ system level of organization. So organisms with the cellular level of organization have mostly asymmetrical and they do not have any body cavity. And such organisms, example is Porifera, that is sponges. Now coming to tissue level of organization, again it is divided into two based on the type of symmetry present. That is whether they are radially symmetry or they are bilateral symmetry. If they are radially symmetry, they will be acoelomate. They won't be having any coelom. Example, coelentrates will be there and also ctenophora. Now coming to the bilateral symmetrical organisms, they can have like acoelomate, they can be acoelomate, they can be pseudocoelomate or they can be proper coelomates. So the bilateral symmetrical organisms who are acoelomates are platyhelminthes. And the bilateral symmetrical organisms which are pseudocoelomates are Aschelminthus. And the bilateral symmetrical organisms which are coelomates are like annelids, arthropods, mollusks, echinoderms, hemichordates and chordates. Now you can see the echinoderms. Echinoderms, adult echinoderms are radially symmetry and larval echinoderms are bilateral symmetrical. 11 major phyla are present in animal kingdom. They are Porifera, Coelentrata, Ctenophora, Platyhelminthes, Aschelminthus, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata, Hemichordata and Chordata. So in this class, we will be learning in detail about all the types of or all the phyla present. So first we will see Porifera. Phylum Porifera are also called as sponges. Now their general characters. They are having cellular level of organization. asymmetrical, and some of the sponges are radially symmetrical. This is very important. Sometimes it can be asked in questions. And they do not have a coelom, so they are acoelomate. They are found mostly in marine ecosystem. They are mostly marine, and their freshwater forms are also there. They are sedentary. They are sedentary, that is, they are attached to a substratum, but they can be colonial or they can be solitary. That is, they can be found in single or they can be found in groups. They do not have a digestive system. Instead, they have an intracellular digestion. They have a intracellular digestion, that is digestion within a cell. Now, their respiratory system is not present and they don't have a circulatory system. Sponges reproduce both asexually and sexually. Asexually, they reproduce mainly by fragmentation. Now, they are also called as hermaphrodite or monoecious. Why are they hermaphrodite or monoecious? Because the male and female sex organs are present in the same organism or same individual. Now, they have internal fertilization and their development is indirect. Indirect development means the development takes place through a larval stage, and this larval stage is entirely different from that of the adult stage. In the water canal system, water will move into the spongocoel or sponges through the ostia, and this water will be collected in the spongocoel, which will be removed out through the osculum. So what happens here, when the water is entering through ostia, it will be taking food, oxygen and whatever requirements are there, and that will be taken in through this water, and the rest of the things, that is eliminating things like carbon dioxide, waste, everything will be eliminated out through the water itself. The spongocoelan canals are lined by specialized cells called the choanocytes or collar cells, and their body is covered by or supported by spicules and spongin fibers. Now let us see examples of the sponges. Examples are very important in this chapter. Examples are cycon, that is scypha, then spongilla, that is freshwater sponge, and bath sponge, that is euspongia. Now these are the images of cycon, spongilla and euspongia. Next is phylum Coelenterata. Animals included under phylum Coelenterata are also called as Cnidaria. They are also called as Cnidaria. They have a tissue level of organization. Their type of symmetry present is radial symmetry. Their germ layers, only two germ layers are there, that is their diploblastic. They do not have any coelom, so they are acoelomate. Now their habitat, they are found mostly in marine ecosystem. Their sessile or free-swimming forms are there. That is, their like sessile means they will be attached to substrate. The free-living, they can be floating freely in the water. And also they are found in solitary or colonial forms. So they are found in solitary or they are found in single or colonial forms are also present. Now the digestive system is incomplete digestive system. They have an intracellular and extracellular digestion. So they possess both intracellular as well as extracellular digestion. They do not have a respiratory system. They do not have a circulatory system. We already saw that the coelenterates are both sessile and free-living form. The sessile form is called as the polyp and free-living form is called as the medusa. So the polyp will reproduce asexually and it will be producing medusa. And this medusa will reproduce sexually to produce polyp. This is called as alternation of generation. Most of the sexes are separate. They have external fertilization and their development is indirect. So through a larval stage. Now moving on to the unique features of phylum Coelenterates. Coelenterates have tentacles and cnidoblast. Tentacles are nothing but finger-like structures present surrounding the mouth, which helps in capturing of prey as well as helps in different mechanism of these organisms. Now coming to cnidoblast or cnidocytes, these are specialized types of stinging cells which are present on the tentacles. And this cnidoblast contains poison-filled capsule called as nematocytes. So these cnidoblasts are used for anchorage, defense and capturing of prey. Their gastrovascular cavity is having, now you can see they are having incomplete digestive system. So their gastrovascular cavity is having, this is the cavity which is called as the coelentron, and this cavity is having only one opening, and this opening is called as the hypostome. And we have already told that there are two different forms of different body forms of coelenterates. One is polyp and the other one is medusa. So polyp is a cylindrical sessile form. Like example are hydra, adamsia, all are examples of polyp stage which are sessile, which are attached to a substratum. Now coming to the free-living umbrella-like state, that is the medusa, and they are like example jellyfish, which is the Aurelia. Some of these coelenterates shows alternation of generation. That is the polyp stage will give rise to the medusa asexually, and this medusa will give rise to polyp in the sexual reproductive way. And this method of alternation of generation is called as the metagenesis. Another type of coelenterates are corals, and these corals are having calcium carbonate skeleton present. Examples are Hydra, Obelia, Aurelia, Phyla, which is known as the Portuguese man of war, Adamsia, which is called as the sea anemone, Peninsula, which is also called as the sea pen, Gorgonia, which is also called as a sea fan, and Meandrina, which are the brain corals. So these are very important. Why? Because in exam you can get them as match the following, or even simple questions you can get like who is known as a Portuguese man of war, who is known as the sea anemone, who is known as a sea pen, or Gorgonia is also known as what. So all these type of questions can be found in this part where the common name and the scientific name can be asked. Examples are very important in this chapter. You have to learn that, no other shortcuts are there. Next is phylum Ctenophora. They are also called as comb jellies. Now let us see the general characteristics of this phylum. So they are tissue level of organization, they are radially symmetrical, diploblastic, acoelomate, exclusively marine. So exclusively marine means they are only found in marine habitat. Now they are solitary or pelagic forms, and they have incomplete digestive system, but their digestion is intracellular digestion as well as extracellular digestion is also present. So they have both intracellular as well as extracellular digestion. Their respiratory system is absent. They don't have a circulatory system. Reproduction is only sexual reproduction is present. So this is also very important. In Ctenophora, only sexual reproduction is present. They are hermaphrodite, that both male and female sex organs are present in the same organism. External fertilization and development is indirect. Unique features of phylum Ctenophora: they have 8 ventricle external rows of ciliated comb plates. So how many comb plates are there for them? They have 8 ciliated comb plates, and this helps in locomotion. Their tentacles are also present, and these organisms have a particular phenomenon called as bioluminescence. What is bioluminescence? It is the ability of an organism to emit its own light. Okay, so these organisms are bioluminescence also. Example: Ctenoplana and Pleurobranchia. Phylum Platyhelminthes, which are also called as flatworms. Their general characteristics: Platyhelminthes have organ and organ system level of organization, but you have to remember mainly organ level of organization because it is given in your NCERT. So Platyhelminthes are organ level of organization. They are having bilateral symmetry. They can only be divided into 2 equal parts. They are triploblastic, that is all the 3 germ layers are present in their body. They are acoelomate, but they do not have a coelom. So mainly they are aquatic, and they are endoparasite on free living or free living. Endoparasites means the organisms which live inside the host organism. And what are the ectoparasites? The parasites which live on the or outside the body of an, or they are attached to the external body of an organism, that is ectoparasite. And endoparasites are the parasites which are found in the internal organs or inner parts of the host organism. Now their digestive system is incomplete. They only have one opening. They don't have a respiratory system. They don't have a circulatory system also. Coming to the reproduction, they reproduce sexually by fragmentation and also sexual reproduction. They are hermaphrodites. Internal fertilization occurs. Development is indirect through many larval stages. So they have many larval stages present. Unique features of phylum Platyhelminthes: they are having unsegmented body, and their body is dorsoventrally flattened except in the tapeworms. Excretion and osmoregulation by specialized cells called as flame cells, and there are hookens occurs present in the parasitic forms to derive nutrients from the host organism. But there are some flatworms which derive nutrients from the host organisms through their body surface. Examples are Taenia, which is the tapeworm, Fasciola, that is the liver fluke, Planaria, and this Planaria is a type of organism which shows the highest regeneration capacity. When the Planaria is broken down into as many pieces, each and every piece will grow into a new organism, and this is achieved by the presence of specialized cells present in them called as the totipotent cells. Next phylum is the Aschelminthes, and they are the roundworms. So we can see the general characteristics: organ system level of organization, bilateral symmetry, triploblastic, pseudocoelomate. This is very important. Aschelminthes are pseudocoelomates. That means their mesoderm cells are found in patches in between the ectoderm and endoderm. Now their aquatic and terrestrial forms are there, free living or parasitic forms are there in both plants as well as in animals. The digestive system is complete. The first organ system level of organization is found in Aschelminthus and their digestive system is complete. They have a tube within a tube body plan and their tubular alimentary canal is well developed muscular pharynx is present. Now their respiratory system is absent and they do not have a circulatory system also. Aschelminthus are dioecious, that is their sexes are separate. They are sexual reproducing organisms with internal fertilization. Their development can be both direct and indirect. Now moving on to the unique features of phylum Aschelminthus. Their body is circular in cross section. If you take a cross section of their organism's body, their body will be circular in cross section. They have an excretory tube to remove the waste and that waste is removed through excretory pores. Now both male and female are distinct. They have two male and female and the female is always longer than the male. So you can see the diagram here. So this is the male and this is the female. So female is obviously longer. Males have small hook-like end in their tail part but females do not have them. Example is Ascaris, that is the roundworms, a cyclostoma, that is the hookworm, Wuchereria, that is filarial worm which causes filariasis. Next phylum is phylum Annelida. They are segmented animals. Their body is segmented, that is metamerism is found in these organisms. Now general characteristics. Their organ system level of organization. They are having bilateral symmetry. They are triploblastic. They have a true coelom, that is coelomate. They are found in terrestrial, freshwater and marine water and also they are found as free living or parasitic. They have a complete digestive system. A cutaneous respiration is present, that is they respire through their body surface and also some of them have branchial respiration, that is through gills. The circulatory system is closed type of circulation. First closed type of circulation is found in Annelida. They reproduce sexually. Earthworms and leeches are monoecious. That is, what is monoecious? Their body contains both the male and female sex organs. Nereis is dioecious. Both separate male and females are present. Development is direct or indirect. Development can be both direct or indirect through larval stages. Now moving on to the unique features of this phylum. They are segmented like rings and these rings are called as annuli. That is why they are called as Annelida, annuli. Each segment is called as the annuli or metamers. The locomotion is done by longitudinal and circular muscles present in them. So the locomotory organs are called as the setae, which is present in earthworm, and parapodia, which is present in Nereis. They have excretory structures called as nephridia. This is also very important. Nephridia is the excretory structure in this annelids. Paired ganglia are present which are connected to the lateral nerves to the double ventral nerve cord, and this is the type of nervous system present in them, which is a primitive type of nervous system which contains ganglia. So paired ganglia are there and these ganglia are connected to lateral nerves and this lateral nerves are connected to the double ventral nerve cord present. Examples are Pharentima, that is the earthworm, Hirudinaria, that is the blood sucking leech, Nereis, Nereis are aquatic and they are using the parapodia for swimming. Next phylum is phylum Arthropoda. They are joined leg animals. Why they are called joined leg animals? Arthro means joint. Poda means appendages. So these organisms are joined leg appendages. Like you can see if I am drawing an organism like this, their appendages will be like joined. They have a pair of joined appendages. Arthropoda is the largest phylum in the animal kingdom and this includes 1/3 of the all species which are named. Out of all the species named, 1/3 of the species are found in Arthropoda. So we can see general characteristics now. They are having organ system level of organization. Bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic, coelomate. They are cosmopolitan. What does cosmopolitan mean? They can be found in like all type of habitats present. Now their digestive system is complete. They have different types of respiratory structures like gills, which are there for the aquatic arthropods, book gills also for the aquatic arthropods, trachea and book lungs for the terrestrial arthropods. Now they have open type of circulatory system. I told you in Annelida it is closed type of circulatory system. In Arthropoda it is open type of circulatory system. Arthropods are mostly dioecious. Usually internal fertilization occurs and most of them are oviparous. What are oviparous? Egg-laying insects or egg-laying organisms are called as oviparous. Now, development is direct or indirect. It can be direct or through larval stage. Now, the unique features of phylum Arthropoda, they have joined appendages. Their body is divided into 3 regions, that is head, thorax and abdomen. So, 3 regions are there in their body, head, thorax and abdomen. Their body is covered by chitinous cuticle, that is their exoskeleton. What is exoskeleton? The type of skeleton which is covering their body surface is called exoskeleton, and the type of skeleton which is present inside the body of an organism is called as the endoskeleton. Now, excretion is through malpighian tubules. This is also very important. So, the excretory structures in this arthropods are malpighian tubules. Sensory organs like antennae are present, and they have compound as well as simple eyes present. And there is a balancing organ present in them that is called as the statocyst. Examples of arthropods: spiders, scorpion, crab, prawns and insects are included under arthropods. So, there are economically important insects present. There are apis. Apis is honeybees which helps in production of honey. Bombyx is silk moth or silkworm which helps in the production of silk. And Lacifer is a lac insect. Vectors are mosquito, housefly, etc. Mosquitoes, they are like female Anopheles mosquito, Culex mosquito or Aedes mosquito. In gregarious pet, that is locust which comes in group. Then there is a living fossil which is present in the arthropods, that is the Limulus, which is the king crab. Now, phylum Mollusca. Phylum Mollusca includes all the soft-bodied organisms, and this is the second largest phylum in the animal kingdom. Now, we can see general characteristics of this phylum. They are organ system level of organization, they have bilateral symmetry, they are triploblastic, they are coelomate, they are mainly aquatic and few terrestrial forms are also present. Digestive system is a complete digestive system. Now, respiratory system, gills are present in aquatic organisms and a pulmonary sac-like structure is present in the terrestrial forms. Circulatory system is again open type of circulatory system. Mollusks are dioecious, oviparous and the development is both direct and indirect development. Unique features of phylum Mollusca. Their body is divided into head, visceral hump and a muscular foot. And on their head, there is a sensory tentacles present. They have a calcareous exoskeleton. Which they carry. Then they have a mantle which is a membrane that is covered with a visceral mass. The space between the hump and the mantle is called as the mantle cavity, and this mantle cavity contains feather-like gills which helps in respiration and excretion. Radula is a finger-like rasping organ present in the mouth, and this helps in feeding of the mollusca. Examples are Phyla, which is the apple snail, Pinctada, which is pearl oysters, Sepia, that is cuttlefish, Loligo is a squid, Octopus devilfish, Aplysia, that is seahorse, Denantula, that is tusk shell, and Chytropleura, that is the gator. Next is phylum Echinodermata. They are spiny skinned animals. Their body has small spines. That is why they are called as the spiny skinned animals. Now, the general characters. They are organ system level of organization. Adults are radial symmetry and larvae are bilateral symmetry. In the beginning, when we are learning about the flowchart, I told you adult echinoderms are radially symmetry and larval stage is bilateral symmetry. Now, coming to the germ layers, they are triploblastic, they are coelomate, they are exclusively marine. So, before this, we have learned one exclusively marine organisms, that is Ctenophora and also Aschelminthes. They are exclusively marine organisms. Then, their digestive system is complete. They have a ventral mouth and a dorsal anus. So, their mouth is ventral and anus is dorsal. Now, coming to the respiratory system, their skin, gills and water vascular system are present for respiration. Circulatory system is open type of circulation. These echinoderms are dioecious. Their fertilization is external. Their development is direct only through a larval stage. Ciliated free-living larvae are present, and these larvae are ciliated and free-living. Now, on to the unique features of this phylum. Their endoskeleton, which is made up of calcareous ossicles, that is spiny bodies, are present. They do not have a head. So, head is not present. A water vascular system is present for locomotion. Before this, we have learned a water canal system. that is for sponges, and vascular system is for mollusca. They have this vascular system helps in locomotion, respiration, capturing of prey, and transport of food. They do not have an excretory system, so excretory system is absent. Examples are Asteriasis, which are the starfish, Echinus, that is the sea urchin, Echinocardium, Antedon, that is the sea lily, Cucumeria, that is sea cucumber, and Ophiura, that is the sea brittle or the brittle star. Phylum Hemichordata. This phylum Hemichordata was first initially placed as a subphylum in phylum Chordata, as they have certain characters like similar to that of chordates like pharyngeal gill slits. But later, scientists found out that similarities are less than dissimilarities. Dissimilarities are more between chordate and hemichordate. So what they did is they separated hemichordate as a phylum. So now we will see the general characteristics. They have organ system level of organization, bilateral symmetry, triploblastic, coelomate, and they are also exclusively marine, only found in marine habitat. Digestive system is complete. They have respiration is by gills, and their circulation is open type of circulation. So till here what we have learned, only one phylum is there which is having a closed circulatory system, and that is Annelida. These hemichordates are dioecious. External fertilization is occurring, and their development is by indirect development, that is to an intermediate larval stage. Unique features of this phylum, they have worm-like cylindrical body and which is formed of three parts, that is anterior proboscis, a collar, and a long trunk is present. So the collar bears stomachode. This stomachode is a rudimentary structure which is similar to that of a notochord. Their excretion is by proboscis gland. Examples are Balanoglossus and Sarcoglossus. This Balanoglossus are also called as the tongue worm. Next is phylum Chordata. So the organisms which are included under phylum Chordata are based on certain characteristics present, like presence of notochord, a dorsal nerve cord or dorsal hollow nerve cord, and also paired pharyngeal gill slits. These organisms are having bilateral symmetry, they are triploblastic, they are coelomate, and their body is having organ system level of organization. They have some other characteristics also, like post-anal tail part, and also their circulatory system is a closed circulatory system. Now this is the structure of a chordata. So they have a nerve cord, a notochord, gill slits, and post-anal tail part. All these characters are present, then only we can call that organism as a chordate. So phylum Chordata is divided further into three subphylum. One is Urochordata or Tunicata, Cephalochordata, and Vertebrata. Urochordata have their notochord only present in the tail of larvae. Their body is covered by tunicin, and they are exclusively marine organisms and they are hermaphrodites. Example Ascidia, Salpa, and Doliolum. And this is the diagram of Ascidia. So the next subphyla is Cephalochordata. In the organism in Cephalochordata have their notochord persistent throughout their life from head to tail. So their fish-like body is present, they are exclusively marine, their sexes are separate. Example Branchiostoma, that is Amphioxus or lancelets. Subphylum Vertebrata. Vertebrates have notochord present only during their embryonic period. So after which what will happen? This notochord is replaced by a cartilaginous or a bony vertebral column. Thus, all vertebrates are chordates, but all chordates cannot be vertebrates. So, all the vertebrates are chordates, but all the chordates will not be vertebrates. They can be Cephalochordata or Urochordata. Vertebrates have ventral muscular heart. They have a ventral muscular heart, like we have a ventral muscular heart, right? It can be of 2 chambers, 3 chambers, or 4-chambered. They have kidneys for excretion and osmoregulation and paired appendages, and these paired appendages can be fins or limbs. Now we can see the division of vertebrata. Vertebrates are divided into 2 classes, that is Anatha and Gnathostomata. Anatha are jawless vertebrates. They do not have jaws. They don't have a jaw. So example class Cyclostomata. Gnathostomata is the organisms which bears jaw. And this is divided again into 2 classes, that is superclasses, that is Pisces and Tetrapoda. Pisces have fins and tetrapods have limbs. Pisces are nothing but the fishes, and 2 types of fishes are there, that is Chondriothics. Their endoskeleton is made up of cartilage, and Osteothics, whose endoskeleton is made up of bones. Now coming to tetrapoda, that is the organisms which live, again is classified into 4 categories, that is amphibia, reptilia, aves and mammals. Aves are birds. Now moving on to the 2 divisions of vertebrata, that is Gnathostomata, which includes the jawless vertebrates. So it includes the class Cyclostomata. So they're ectoparasite on some fishes, that is they live outside the body, they'll suck onto the outside part of the body of other fishes and they'll take in the nourishment. They have a sucking and circular mouth without jaws. Since they are jawless vertebrates, they won't be having jaws, right? So 6 to 15 pairs of gill slits are present for respiration. So they have 6 to 15 pairs of gill slits. Then no scales or no paired fins are present. They won't be having any scales or they won't be having any paired fins. Okay, so the cranium and vertebral column is cartilaginous. Okay, so they have a vertebral column. Since they are vertebrates, they obviously have a vertebral column and they have a cranium. So these 2 are cartilaginous, not bony. Marine forms will migrate to fresh water for spawning. And after spawning, what will happen to them? They will die there. And the larvae, after metamorphosis, they'll return back to the ocean. What is metamorphosis? Metamorphosis is the process by which a larva is getting converted into adult. And example is petromyzon and mixin. Next is Gnathostomata, that is the jawed vertebrates. This is divided into 2 superclasses, that is pisces and tetrapods. Now we are going to see the superclass pisces. They are the fishes. 2 classes are present, that is the chondrothics and osteothics. Chondrothics are the cartilaginous fishes and osteothics are the bony fishes. So first, cartilaginous fish. So they are mainly marine, their body is streamlined and they are predaceous, that is they will be predators, they will be predating other smaller fishes or organisms. They have a cartilaginous endoskeleton. So endoskeleton is a type of skeleton which is present inside the body of an organism. So they have a cartilaginous endoskeleton. Their notochord is persistent throughout their life. So in these organisms, these notochords are persistent throughout their life. They have a ventral mouth. Okay, so what happens? Like this, they have a ventral mouth. So these organisms have a ventral mouth like this. So their mouth will be ventrally placed. Their skins have placoid scale. So what is placoid scale? Their scales are like a little sharp at one end. So these are placoid scales and their teeth is modified placoid scale which are directed backwardly. Their gill slits are not covered by any operculum. So they do not have operculum but they have a powerful jaw. Okay, so there is no air bladder present in their body. So to avoid sinking, what they should do? They should continuously swim. They are poikilotherms. What are poikilotherms? They are cold-blooded animals. These organisms cannot maintain their body temperature. So they have 2 chambered heart, 1 auricle and 1 ventricle. Their sexes are separate and in males, the pelvic spines bears claspers and these claspers are copulating organs. Their internal fertilization and many of them are viviparous. What do you mean by viviparous? Organisms which give birth to their young ones. Examples are Scolidion, that is a dogfish, Pristis, that is a sawfish, Carcharodon, that is the great white shark, Trigon, that is a stingray and this stingray has poisonous stings, and Terpedo, it is an electric ray that has electrical organs. Class Osteichthyes. Osteichthyes are bony fishes. They are found in both marine and aquatic conditions and they are having a streamlined body. Their endoskeleton is made up of bones. So they have a bony endoskeleton. They have a terminal mouth. So how their mouth is like? They have a terminal mouth like this. Then they have 4 pairs of gills covered by operculum. So they have operculum for covering their gills and that is present on each side. So the scales are cycloid, ctenoid, etc. So they have cycloid and ctenoid scales. They have air bladders present which provides buoyancy and prevent them from sinking. So air bladders are present. They are poikilotherms, that is they are cold-blooded animals. So they also cannot maintain their body temperature. They have also 2 chambered heart, 1 auricles and 1 ventricles. Their sexes are separate. External fertilization occurs and mostly they are viviparous, that is they will lay eggs and their development is direct. Examples in marine ecosystem: Exocetus, that is flying fish, and Hippocampus, that is a seahorse. Freshwater labio, that is rohu, Katla, and Clarius, that is mugger. Aquarium, beta fish, that is fighting fish, and Pterophyllum, that is angelfish. Now moving on to the superclass tetrapoda. That is tetra, that is 4. Poda means appendages. So they have 4 appendages. So organisms with 4 appendages are called as tetrapods. So that includes 4 classes. Class Amphibia, reptiles, aves and mammals. So first we will see class Amphibia. So these amphibians require aquatic and terrestrial habitat for their survival. They require water for breeding. So they have head, trunk and some of them have tail. The body is divided into head, trunk and some of them have tail. Their skin is moist without scales and they have 2 pairs of appendages. And there is a tymphanum which represents ear. So tymphanum represents the ear and they have a 3-chambered heart, that is 2 auricles and 1 ventricle is present. They are also poikilothms, that is they are cold-blooded animals, and their alimentary canal, urinary system and reproductive tract opens into a common region called cloaca, and this cloaca opens to the exterior. Their respiration is by gills in the larval stage, lungs and skin in the adult stage. Their sexes are separate, they have external fertilization and they are oviparous, that is they will lay egg. Their development is indirect development to larval stage. Like in frogs, it is the tadpole which is the larval stage. Now examples are buffo, which is the toad, rana, that is the frog, hyla, that is the tree frog, salamander and ichthyophis, that is the lymphless amphibian. The amphibian which does not have lymph is ichthyophis. Class Reptilia. Dry and conified skin, epidermal scales or scutes are present. So these lizards and snakes, what they will do is they will shed their scales as skin cast. So if present, they are having 2 pairs of limbs. Crawling mode of locomotion is followed by them. They have a tympanum which represents the ear and they have a 3-chambered heart, and except crocodiles are having 4-chambered heart. They are poikilothms. Their well-developed alimentary canal is present. Respiration is by lungs. Internal fertilization occurs and they are oviparous. Development is direct. So they do not have a larval stage. They will directly give rise to the young ones. Examples: Coelom, that is the turtles, Testido, tortoise, Chameleon, tea lizard, Calotus, garden lizard, Crocodilus, crocodile, alligators, Hemidactylus, that is the wall lizard, poisonous snakes like a naga, that is the cobra, Bangarus, that is the crate, and vipera, that is the viper. Non-poisonous snakes, example pythons. Class aves, they are birds. So they have feathers and beaks present, and their forelimbs are modified into wings which help them for flying. Their skins are dry without any glands, but except for a small oil gland which is present in the base of the tail, and that is in some it is called as the preen glands. Hind limbs have scales which are modified for walking, swimming, clasping tree branches. They have hollow and pneumatic long bones. Why do they have hollow bones or pneumatic bones? Because to reduce their body weight so that they can fly easily. Then tymphanum represents ear and they have 4-chambered heart. They are homeotherms, that is they are warm-blooded animals. They can regulate their body temperature. Their digestive tract has an additional structure or chamber called as crop or gizzard, which is used for grinding. It is not used for storage. They have double circulation. Air sacs are connected to the lungs. Internal fertilization, oviparous, that is they lay eggs and they have a direct development. Examples are Crow's crow, Columba pigeon, Psittacula parrot, Struthio ostrich, Pavo peacock, Aptidioides penguin and Neophron vulture. Coming to the last class of vertebrates and the last topic of this chapter, class Mammalia. And this class Mammalia organisms are characterized by the presence of mammary glands, that is the milk producing glands. They have skins with hair. 2 pairs of appendages are there, which is for walking, running, climbing, browsing, swimming or flying. External ears are there, which is having ear pinna. 4-chambered heart is present, so they are having double circulation. They are homeotherms, they are warm-blooded animals. They can regulate their body temperature. Well-developed alimentary canal is present. Their dentition in heterodont, thecodont and diphyodont. What is heterodont? Different types of teeth are present, like incisors, canines, premolars and molars are present. So different types of teeth are present, so that is their heterodont. Thecodont, the teeth is present inside a socket, that is it is called as thecodont. And diphyodont, two types of teeth are present in the life cycle, that is a milk teeth and a permanent teeth, so that is diphyodont. The respiration is by lungs, sexes are separate, internal fertilization, viviparous, echidna and platypus. These two are oviparous, which will lay eggs. Development is direct. Now, examples are Canis dog, Marcopus that is kangaroo, Pteropus that is flying fox, Camelus camel, Macaca that is monkey, Rat is rat, Felis cat, Ornithorhynchus that is platypus, Elephas that is elephant, Equus that is horse, Dolphinus that is common dolphin, Belanotropa that is blue whale, Panthera tigris that is tiger, Panthera leo that is lion. So by this we finish the chapter Animal Kingdom. So it's a very interesting chapter. A lot of examples are there, a lot of unique characters are there in each phylum. So it is very important that you have to learn all these things. If you have any doubts, drop a comment in the comment box. I'll be happy to clear that. Also, you can send personal messages also. So that's all. See you in the next class with another chapter. Bye.